morning. Welcome to the home of the Calgary Unitarians. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey of faith or search for meaning, welcome. If you are visiting for the first time or the first time in a long time, know that we are grateful to have you with us. We come together in beloved community to grow in wisdom, welcome and deepen relationships, and act for a just and sustainable world. My name is Carol Yankee. I use the pronouns she and her, and I currently serve on your board of trustees. One of the reasons I enjoy attending services is the music. Last week, our choir performing Christian's arrangement of Buffy Sainte-Marie's song, accompanied by drums, was exhilarating, and I'm looking forward to more. If you are here in person, please stay for coffee after the service today. And if you're joining us online, please stay on after the service for a virtual coffee hour. Now, wherever we are, let us remember and acknowledge the traditional territories and languages of all whose ancestors were here before us. We recognize our responsibility to be stewards of this land and acknowledge that we do so in cooperation with the people of the Blackfoot Confederacy of Southern Alberta, comprised of the Siksika, Bagaine, and Kainai First Nations, as well as the Dene First Nation band Tsuut'ina and the Nakota First Nation, also known as Stoney. Alberta's Nakota First Nation is comprised of 3 bands, the Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Wesley. Mohkinstsis, the Blackfoot word for what is now known as the city of Calgary, is also home to Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. In offering a land acknowledgement, we honor those who have long been her stewards and accept our shared responsibility for being good caretakers. We acknowledge that Treaty 7, signed September 22, 1877, was entered into as a collaboration between settlers and Indigenous people, making us all treaty people.
Beautiful, thank you. Christian's a composer. He wrote that beautiful piece, The Lord's Prayer. Good morning, welcome. I'm the Reverend Shelley Thompson. My pronouns are she and her, and I have the pleasure of serving as the interim minister here at Calgary Unitarians. Happy October once again. Our theme this month is courage. So we've already said hello to one another. Hopefully you could hear each other in that. You can hear me now saying, hi everybody, I love you. Love you on Zoom, I love you all here in person. Delighted our choir is here. This is just, I'm really getting used to this. This is good stuff. Woohoo. A few announcements this morning. It is already October again, meaning that it is time for the Sisters in Spirit Peace March and Rally this Tuesday, the 4th, and it starts at 10 a.m. and it's a short march to Olympic Plaza at 10 o'clock, and then a ceremony that begins at 11 in Calgary Plaza. And so there's a flyer about that out on our bulletin board and more information. It is Awo Tan Women's Shelter that sponsors that every year. So that's an event where we can get out there and show our solidarity and support in accountability with our 8th principle and as good friends and neighbors here in Calgary. Thanksgiving is coming up already next week. I can't believe it. And it's been the tradition of this fabulous congregation to have a potluck here at the church for those of us who don't necessarily have family in town and might just love to get together with our Calgary Unitarians friends. And Liz Blackstock has done a nice thing by saying, hey, I'll help organize and cook some turkey. And we just haven't had a word yet from anybody about whether or not we want to do a potluck this year, if there's a need for that. So that's our question we need answered pretty much today. If you are a person for whom this potluck is it for you, this is going to be your plan for Thanksgiving, you want to come, we need a raised hand. Or if you're on Zoom, if someone back there, Mitch, if you could glance at chat for us and see if anybody puts their name in the chat that they really want to come to the potluck. And we may just not need one this year, we're not sure. But we need to find out for sure so that we can put the final word in our e-news on Wednesday, whether or not we need to have a potluck. And if everybody has great places to be, that's wonderful. And if you'd like to be here with us, that's wonderful too. We just need that answer as quickly as possible. So is there anybody here who for sure you really want to come to a potluck on Monday the 10th? Awesome. Okay, Mariana Louise, raise your hand. Stand up, Mariana Louise. Well, I would like you to please at coffee hour find Mariana Louise and give her your name and email address. We'll write that down and we'll make sure we know you're on our list. And if someone can capture in chat for me, if there's names in the chat, great, thank you. And that way we'll kind of know our head count, and Liz and Mariana Louise and her husband Ron, and maybe Jeff, we might rope Jeff in on this, and myself, we're gonna do some cooking and have a good potluck then on the 10th at 5 p.m., a supper. I've been told the tradition, it's Thanksgiving supper. In the States, people eat whenever they feel like it, and it's all over the map. But here it's supper, I've been instructed, so. That's exciting. I'm excited. A Canadian Thanksgiving, yay. Thank you very much for that. And also super important that you all participate in your survey for our search team. That really is sort of a mandatory, everybody please, 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 please fill out your surveys. And there's a link in the newsletter that you're getting from Search Team on Tuesday, and it's in our regular e-news, and it's on our website. And if you're struggling with that at all you have to do is let us know, me or a member of the search team. Where's my search team people? Mariana Louise is here, Marcia's here, Michael's here. They can help you with this if you need help digitally. But it's even a process of figuring out helping you figure out what you think and how you feel about the church, just by asking yourself these questions and then giving us your answers. So this is that time when we need at least that full quorum of members of Calgary Unitarians to participate in this, so that we get a really well-rounded, as many voices as possible to include in this big prospectus that they're going to write, the congregational record that tells ministers who might be applying here all about how wonderful you are. So we want your voices included in that, and it's a good chance to think about, okay, yeah, who are we right now, and where are we going, and what do we think is important for what we want to do next. So that's what that survey is all about. I know it sounds like a chore, but it's actually a really important piece of shared ministry. Think of it that way. So we hope that by the end of the day, and maybe by the end of the day tomorrow, they'll look on that survey and, oh, look, 20 more people have answered. 30 more people have answered. That's going to get us really excited, I promise you. So thank you for your participation in that, everybody who's already done it, and in advance for the rest of you who are going to do it later today. A reminder that we do have a retreat coming up on November 19th, another opportunity for shared ministry, where we're going to get together and do some appreciative inquiry around visioning and goals, and really get a chance to re-energize and revitalize ourselves. We've only had a few people sign up for that. I'm going to look again, and there's a Sign Up Genius linked in the news, and a participant told me it was a little confusing. So I'm going to double check on it and make sure it's easy to sign up on that Sign Up Genius. You can also tell me, and then there's ways to register with Carol Yankee, our treasurer, as well. So we do need, there is space limited for about 25 of us to go, but we really do need a full house there to make this retreat as best as it possibly can be. And we would love, love, love it if we were completely full at that retreat. So that's another reminder. And then I want you to check out your e-news. If you didn't this last week, we're updating it. We're trying to make it easier to read. We're making some changes. And I asked our admin, Todd, who is phenomenal, to make us a really easy to read calendar, not of all the room assignments and everything, but just, hey, what's going on at Calgary Unitarians? So you can glance at that calendar and you can see the events, and you could see all the things there are to do and come to and participate in. So that's going to make life a little bit easier, I think, that at-a-glance look. What's going on this month at church? So do your best to take a look at your e-news, see what you think, see if there's more improvements we can make to make it more readable. Check out that calendar. And then, of course, be sure as you're planning your events with your teams that you're letting Todd know so that those are on our calendars and everybody knows about them. We like to toot our own horn around here about what's going on because it's good stuff. Thank you very much, everybody. Our chalice lighting this morning comes from Reverend Gretchen Haley. I checked the oil today. There is a quiet courage in the choice to let go of the past, in the choice to be present in this new day, to live for this hour, this moment, and believe in its possibility, to release the regrets, to stop the spinning stories of what was and is no longer, to accept this gift, to believe that we are worthy still of happiness, of ease, of delight, and hope, to believe that we already have all that we need to heal and to receive this wholeness with ready hearts and open hands, saying only thank you. Come, let us practice this surrender together, gathering up all the brave boldness we know can be found in our bones and our blood, if we will breathe together, knowing ourselves a part of this one life, filled with mystery, creativity, and power, changing us, growing us, and calling us into partnership with all that is. Come, let us worship together. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, Woyaya. You got a headset?
All right. Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful, beautiful fall day outside. Although, as Mariana Louise Kovar was telling me today, the east is even more beautiful with all their red colors. So I wish we had a few more maples, but I'm not going to complain. I love, I love a fall day. And as many of you know, my name is Sheila McMaster. I'm the Director of Religious Education here at the Calgary Unitarians, and my pronouns are she and her. And as Reverend Shelley was saying, this month's theme is courage. And today we're talking about feeling uncertain sometimes. And so I have a great story for all of you that kind of deals with feeling a bit uncertain, and it's called The Magical Yet. And it will come up shortly. And as we're waiting, I want to also say I have those lovely multi-faith calendars for sale now. And they make a wonderful Christmas gift. So if you're interested, just send me a little email at dre@calgaryunitarians.ca and I can hook you up. All right, the magical yet. There are days when your dreams haven't come true, or you're upset by things you can't do. And if you've lost or failed or cried just a bit, and you're tired of waiting and ready to quit. Like that shiny new bike you couldn't ride and it didn't matter how hard you tried. And you couldn't pedal and you couldn't steer and you couldn't get that bike into gear. And then when you thought you were on the right track, you popped a wheelie and fell on your back. And now you won't ride? No way, not ever. No riding for you, you'll walk forever. Don't give up now. There is a major game changer, a most amazing thought rearranger, someone to show you how good you can get. Now introducing the magical yet. With this yet's magic, you can begin to see that you're going beyond where you've been. There are so many things you've learned to do when you don't know the yet was with you. Like when you babbled before you could talk, or how you crawled before you could walk. You're a dreamer, a schemer, a hoper, a trier, a maker, a doer, a gotta fly higher. This yet finds a way even when you don't, and yet knows you will, even when you think you won't. Like that shiny new bike that you couldn't ride, hop right back on with the yet by your side. Yet doesn't mind warm-ups and fixes and flops and do-overs and redos and stumbles and stops. Yet knows there's mistakes, some big and some small. With the yet, you're sure to get over them all. Play the kazoo or play the bassoon and jam with the yet, and soon you'll be in tune. Try skateboarding tricks like ollie heel flip. This yet can get to the championship. Tongue twisters twisted your tongue in a knot, yet says keep trying and practice a lot. Be patient, you can't do it all overnight. Some things take days or months or years to get right. But if you keep leaping and dreaming and wishing and waiting and learning and trying and missing, with yet as your guide along the way, you'll do all the things you can't do today. Now you're bolder and braver and starting to see with yet you can get where you want to be. You finally did it. You knew you could. You're not just writing, you're getting quite good. But don't stop now. You've got so much to do. The good news is this yet grows with you. So no matter how big or old you might get, you'll never outgrow, you'll never forget. You can always believe in the magic of yet. The end. And so as we're talking about what happens yet, what happens next, the children and youth are making their own vision boards because it's not about imagining how to do something, but imagining what. So we're going to be inspired by questions like, what makes you happy? Or what do you love? And as Sheila Tobias says, there's a difference in not knowing and not knowing yet. And so please join me as we sing the children and youth downstairs.
Wonderful. And Sheila has put up now on our bulletin board in Wickenden fabulous photos from our family camp out at Good Nights Campground, and they are wonderful photos, so you definitely want to check that out. And maybe plan ahead that you want to come on the camp out next year, because it's a lot of fun. As a beloved community of care and concern, we're always holding each other in our hearts and our spirits through all the ups and downs of life. We know that it takes courage to get through this life, and that it's a lot easier to do when we do it together and we're able to share from our hearts the real deal, what's really going on, both the good news and the difficult news. So we light a candle for all of our joys and our good news and our celebrations. Maybe. Oh. Soon, not yet, but soon. Thank you, Magical Yet. Candle for joy. And we light a candle for all the difficulties, the sorrows, the grief, the concerns. We know there are a lot of those. And we light a global candle because we know we want to widen our circle until it includes everyone, everywhere. And there's a lot of need for this light and this love of community out there in the world. We want to send so much love to the victims of these horrible hurricanes, Fiona and Ian, that crashed through the Caribbean. Fiona left devastation in Puerto Rico with a death toll currently at 25. And there's still Eastern Canadian communities without power over a week later. And Hurricane Ian just rip-roared, second strongest, or tied for strongest in history of high winds, tearing apart communities in Florida and in the southeastern United States, and currently over 31 people reported as having died from that storm. And we know the devastation to property is also weighs heavily on people right now, and these cleanup efforts are going to take a really long time. These climate disasters that keep happening are reminders of how truly interconnected we all are, and our hearts certainly go out to everyone affected. Our beloved Jane Perry has updated her CaringBridge site with her latest news that she's got new hurdles that she's overcoming in her cancer treatment that has now manifested in her ovaries. So there's an additional site that they'll be dealing with, and she feels confident in her cancer team and is ready to take on the recovery process that involves her surgery on the 13th of this month. So once again, she is hanging in there in a way that I just can't quite, she's amazing. And every journal entry she gives us a beautiful spiritual exercise to go with it. We're looking at all the beautiful reds out there in fall right now. Pay special attention if you see something turning red, and think of Jane, and think of healing and light for her and for Cora. Our beloved Conrad Ayasi is optimistic about his recovery. He had a stroke recently and is in rehabilitation for that, and it affected his left side, and his mobility is making progress in coming back. He feels good about it, but says he has a lot of family and friends right now that are visiting, so he doesn't feel the need to have a lot of us visit, but really appreciates our care and concern and love for him as he recovers from this. So we won't see him for a little while, but know that that's because he's busy recovering. And our well wishes make that an easier journey. Please feel free to rise and light a candle or place a stone in our communal bowl. As we sing together, I know this rose will open.
Good morning. This is a round, so we're going to do this in a round here. So group one here is on the left or stage right, if you prefer, and group two is here in the middle on stage right or to the left of the congregation, and then group three here in the middle on the other side, and group four right on the end.
done. Woo! Changing tides with the power of the lives we will lead. That's good. I like that. We're going to put that on the Wayside pulpit next time, right? So good to be together. Blessed are you, Spirit of life, who has sustained us, enlivened us, and enabled us to reach this moment. This is an adaptation of a Hebrew prayer called the Shehecheyenu. Pardon my Hebrew. It is a part of a longer reading that's written by Reverend Leslie Fales. In Leslie's words, this Hebrew blessing is for any time you do something you haven't done in a long time, or you're doing something for the first time, or when doing annual events that you should feel blessed for having lived to see come around the wheel of the year again, or when you survive a close call, or when you're about to do something adventurous. Well, how about all of the above? Right? Here we are at the start of a new church year, an annual event that we're doing after this close call of the pandemic. And we find ourselves in need of adventurous spirit for everything new that's happening and the search for the new settled minister that's coming up in the near future. Blessed are you, Spirit of life, who has sustained us, enlivened us, and enabled us to reach this moment. This prayer calls us to pay attention to the present, to the sacred now, with a sense of gratitude for how far we have come. We're asked to relish the moment, take it in, here and now, and bolster our courage as we boldly go forward together. The courage we get from one another, from facing our challenges as a community, the courage of our convictions and our shared values. This is no time to go it alone. It's been said that we modern humans are living in VUCA times. What are VUCA times? Well, these are circumstances and systems that are characterized by volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. We're all VUCA'd up. Think about congregational life here at Calgary Unitarians over the past couple of years. And we can see that even right into the present, life's been a little bit VUCA, right? The good news is we're not alone. And let us be grateful that in this moment, we get to choose how to respond to these challenges together. So let's take this time, this special, precious time made sacred by your presence, to gather up our Calgary Unitarians' courage and think about what VUCA means, and imagine some antidotes, some other more positive things that VUCA can stand for. After all, we UUs are really good at acronyms. And this is a short contemplative practice. It's a reflection and a centering together. It's based in the Buddhist practice called Tonglen. Buddhist nun Pema Chodron, in her book, Welcoming the Unwelcome, Wholehearted Living in a Broken-Hearted World, she tells us that Tonglen is a method for connecting with suffering, our own and that which is all around us. It's a method of overcoming our fear of suffering and dissolving the tightness in our hearts. The practice goes like this. When we breathe in, we name and breathe in the type of suffering that we know is hurting people and that we wish to help. We take it on with empathy and compassion, knowing that we know what that feels like too. We need that empathy and compassion too. And it's in an effort to help others be well and have more space to relax and open. We're going to help others carry that. We're going to take it on. And then when we breathe out, we're going to send out that antidote. We're going to send out the quality that is going to ease and relieve some of that suffering as a prayer, as a way of comforting others. So it's a little counterintuitive to focus on breathing and suffering and sitting with our pain. But the key here is this isn't so much an individual practice as it is a collective practice. When we're in that collective place of we're all in this together, we're so much more courageous. We can do this together. We can hold this together. And as a community, we can take it in with compassion and love, surround it, hug it, and let it back out again with the kinds of qualities that we know will help create the world we dream about living in too. Pema says, when you do Tonglen on the spot, like we're doing, you simply breathe in and breathe out, taking in pain and breathing out spaciousness and relief. This is a form of collective liberation. That's what we're doing together when we do Tonglen. We're working for our collective liberation. So get as comfortable as you are able to do in this space and time. Just give yourself a minute. You might want to close your eyes at some point, that's okay, or not. We're going to start our Tonglen with the V, which stands for volatile. Volatility, subject to frequent, rapid, and significant change. So much has happened in such a relatively short time. COVID hit, Deborah retired, I showed up, Jane got sick. We closed and opened and closed and opened and closed again and opened again. And now Christian's here and the choir's back. And even really good changes can still be volatile and stressful. Where do you feel volatility? Where does that show up in your body? What have you known of volatility in these past couple of years or right this moment? Well, I say volatility calls for clear vision and strong values to help us be centered and open-hearted and ready to face all of these challenges. Let us take a moment then. We're going to go through a few breath cycles. We breathe in on the in-breath. Breathe in volatility. And we breathe out clear vision and strong values for ourselves and others. May it be so. May we make it so. The U in VUCA stands for uncertain. Events and outcomes that are unpredictable. So many things were uncertain, were canceled, postponed, rearranged, adapted to be online, hybrid. It's been difficult to keep any kind of regular schedule or program going. There's been so many disappointments. Planning ahead has been problematic. We don't know exactly what is next. How has uncertainty affected you and your loved ones during this time? Uncertainty calls for unity. It calls for unwavering faith in the power of love. We are stronger together. We are still here, and we will continue to be here for a long time to come. We'll uphold our traditions and take an unflinching look at the challenges we need to make to widen our circles to include all people. And beyond all of that uncertainty, we will uncover potential and possibility. It's exciting. I invite you now to breathe through a few cycles, breathing in uncertainty and breathing back out unity and the unwavering faith in the power of love. May it be so. May we make it so. C stands for complex, characterized as a multiplicity of issues and factors, some of which may be intricately interconnected. That describes a global pandemic, all right. The kind of interconnectedness that involves everyone, everything, everywhere. We're certainly not the only ones trying to sort out what is going on and how to proceed. Have there been aspects of complexity keeping you up at night? Causing you worry? Complexity calls for commitment, creativity, and compassion for ourselves and others. Commitment, creativity, and compassion to deal with all those complexities. Let's breathe in complexity and breathe out commitment, creativity, and compassion for ourselves and others. May it be so, and may we make it so. A stands for ambiguous, not just uncertain or unpredictable, but also lacking clarity. That includes difficulty understanding exactly what the situation is. Bewildering, befuddling. How many times have we asked a question or expressed a concern, and the only answer there seems to be is, we just don't know. No one knows. We can't know that right now. It's ambiguous. A lot of fear can lurk in ambiguity. What have you been afraid of? What are your biggest fears right now? Ambiguity calls for adaptability and acceptance of all that is, freeing us to be more peaceful within and without. Adaptability and acceptance to help us free ourselves and give ourselves that spaciousness to be at peace with what is. So now we breathe in all that ambiguity, and we breathe out adaptability and acceptance of all that is. May it be so, and may we make it so. We can do this practice anytime we start to feel that tightness, anything that feels like it's restricting our wholeheartedness, anytime we're overcome by our brokenheartedness, and we need to recenter ourselves and make some spaciousness, a place for that love and compassion and all that wonderful courage to bubble up and fill our cups up so we can nurture our spirits and help heal the world. I share with you now the full reading from Reverend Leslie Ahuva Fales. It's called All That We Have Been and All That We Will Become. All that we have been separately and all that we will become together is stretched out before us and behind us like stars scattered across a canvas of sky. We stand at the precipice, arms locked together like tandem skydivers, working up the courage to jump. Tell me, friends, what have we got to lose? Our fear of failure? Our mistrust of our own talents? What have we got to lose? A poverty of the spirit? The lie that we are alone? What wonders await us in this space between the first leap and the moment our feet, our wheels, however we move our bodies across this precious earth, touch down softly on unknown soil? What have we got to lose that we can't replace with some previously unimaginable joy? Blessed are you, Spirit of life, who has sustained us, enlivened us, and enabled us to reach this moment. Give us courage in our leaping and gratitude in our landing, and share with us in the joy of a long and fruitful ministry together. Amen. Ashe, and blessed be. Now is the time that we honor and gratefully receive the financial support of our membership and our friends who sustain the good works and mission of this congregation. It is through all of your hard work and generosity that we're able to continue to build beloved community. And it gives us the courage to envision new ministries and to create previously unimaginable joy together. And in this technological age, we know there are so many ways to give, that you give online, you give through e-transfer, you give through auto-pay, so many ways that don't show up here on Sunday mornings or turn up in the basket, but we know you're giving, and we're truly grateful for that. And we do have traditional envelopes and a basket that will come around if you'd like to donate that way. There's also going to be a slide that'll tell you about all those different options for giving. We want to make it easy. This is also our final Sunday to collect and share our support for the Urban Society for Aboriginal Youth. This makes 4 Sundays, which is why we're carrying over into this first Sunday of October, which has 5 Sundays. So our October recipient will also have 4. The Urban Society for Aboriginal Youth, their mission is to enrich the lives of all urban Indigenous youth by nurturing self-empowerment and fostering healthy collaboration and communication to ensure healthy future generations. USAY co-creates programming with Indigenous youth partners and elders, and they're currently running over 30 programs. It's impressive. We wholeheartedly endorse their mission. We thank you again for your generous support. Your donations and generosity will now be gratefully received. Thank you, ushers, and thank you, Christian. We invite everybody who's on Zoom to look for the link that's going to appear in the chat there to go to our coffee chat time to get a chance to socialize and be together. We hope you do that. And everybody here, there's our usual coffee and conversation, and delicious treats just magically appear. The little cookie elves come, and no, really, there's lots of wonderful volunteers who make kitchen time happen and coffee time happen. We'd be delighted to have you join us, and we're starting up our bulletin boards again, so take a look and see what's up there. There's lots of good stuff. We extinguish our chalice, but not the warmth of community that ignites the fires of courage in our hearts. One of my very favorite benedictions that just seems to consistently be needed to be said. It's called A Prayer for Living in Tension by the Reverend Joe Cherry. If we have any hope of transforming the world and changing ourselves, we must be bold enough to step into our discomfort, brave enough to be clumsy there, loving enough to forgive ourselves and others. May we, as a people of faith, be granted the strength to be so bold, so brave, and so loving. Amen. Ashe and blessed be. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing, Love Will Guide Us.